The scalpel's cold bite into my abdomen wasn't the worst part. It was the whisper from my husband's lips as the anesthesia pulled me under. "This is for us, Chloe." Trust me, I woke up in hell. Not heaven. My blood pooling on the operating table like spilled Merlot. His face the last thing I saw, before everything went black. Twisted in a smile that said I'd been played. 5 years later. Or was it yesterday? I gasped awake in my old Brooklyn apartment. The year 2018 stamped on the calendar like a cruel joke. My hands young and unscarred. Heart pounding with the fresh scar of betrayal etched into my soul. I bolted upright. Sheets tangled around me like restraints. The familiar creak of the floorboards under my bare feet grounding me in this impossible rewind. My name is Chloe Harper, and I just died, poisoned by the man I called my rock, my everything, only to slam back into my body at 28, right before he started weaving the web that would end me. The air smelled of stale coffee and regret, the same morning I'd once brewed for him with a kiss, blind to the arsenic crystals he'd slip into my mug months from now. But not this time. This time, I knew. And God help him. I was coming for blood, metaphorical. Sure. But it'd feel the same when I drained his empire dry. The hook lodged deepest when I stumbled to the bathroom mirror, splashing water on a face that hadn't aged a day past that fateful surgery. My reflection stared back, green eyes sharp with ghosts, whispering the truth I'd overheard in my final moments, not from the doctors, but from the shadows of his lies. Terminal, he'd sobbed to the world, playing the grieving widower-to-be while plotting my exit for the insurance payout. But I'd caught the fragments. His illness was a farce, a shared delusion to cover his tracks. And now, reborn, I'd unravel it thread by thread until he choked on the noose of his own deceit. I didn't waste a breath on tears or what-ifs. Rebirth wasn't a gift, it was a loaded gun, and I was finger-itching to pull the trigger. That first morning, sunlight sliced through the blinds of my cramped Williamsburg walk-up, the kind of hipster haven where baristas quoted Nietzsche over oat milk lattes. 5 years in the future, this place had been our love nest turned tomb. Now, it was ground zero for Operation Unravel. I rifled through the nightstand drawer, fingers brushing the engagement ring he'd given me last Christmas, real diamonds. Fake promises. Tucked beneath was his phone, charger still plugged in from the night before. Jack Harper, my husband-to-be, the golden boy of Manhattan finance, oblivious to the storm I'd become. He was in the shower, humming some off-key Springsteen tune, water cascading like the tears I wouldn't shed. I snatched the phone. Thumbprint unlock a joke since I knew his code, 0715. Our anniversary from that rainy Central Park picnic. Texts lit up like fireflies in hell, messages from Dr. Ellis, his supposed oncologist, laced with code words that screamed setup. Symptom check-in, patient stable. Proceed with phase 2? Phase 2. My stomach twisted, bile rising like the truth I'd swallowed in my dying breaths. In my old life, phase 2 had been the emergency surgery where he'd swapped my meds for poison, staging my death as a complication while his cancer miraculously remitted post-payout. A door creaked, Jack emerging, towel slung low on his hips, that boyish grin plastered on like wallpaper. Morning. Gorgeous. Coffee. He leaned in for a kiss, but I sidestepped, feigning a yawn, heart hammering a war drum. Yeah. Sure. Hey. Weird dream last night. About hospitals. His eyes flickered barely, but I caught it. The micro-twitch of a liar's mask. Hospitals?
Babe.
You're too young for that anxiety shit. Pass the creamer? We ate in silence broken by small talk, his latest deal at Goldman Sachs. My freelance graphic design gigs scraping by. But my mind raced circuits around his banal chatter. Jack wasn't just ambitious, he was a serpent in khakis, groomed from Yale's Ivy Halls to Wall Street's wolf dens. We'd met at a rooftop party in Soho. Sparks flying over gin and tonics. Him the charming quant trader. Me the wide-eyed artist from Ohio Rust. He'd swept me off my feet. Funded my dreams. Whispered forever. But forever had an expiration date. The day his gambling debts hit 7 figures. Buried under poker tables in Atlantic City and crypto scams that ate his bonuses like candy. I knew the timeline now. Etched in post-mortem clarity. 6 months from this breakfast, he'd confide his diagnosis, pancreatic cancer. Stage 4. The death sentence that'd rally sympathy and stall his creditors. Then, the shared tragedy, my supportive wife role, culminating in that botched op. The payout? 10 million life insurance, half to him as beneficiary. The rest to charity in my name. Clean, poetic, villainous. But the secret he'd buried deepest? It wasn't just money.
No.
Jack had a shadow life, a mistress in the Hamptons. Vanessa, a lithe real estate shark with Daddy's trust fund, who'd co-sign the fraud. They'd laughed about it.
I bet.
Toasting with Fuve while I flatlined. By noon, I was out the door, claiming a client meeting, Ubering straight to Mount Sinai's oncology wing. The sterile hum of fluorescence hit like déjà vu, corridors echoing my phantom screams. I lingered by the nurse's station, eavesdropping like a ghost, blending into the throng of white coats and clipboards. That's when I heard it, the whisper, the one that had haunted my deathbed. 2 docs in rumpled scrubs, coffee in hand, Harper's chart, fake as his Rolex. Wife's the mark, thinks it's real. Ellis is playing God for a cut. My blood froze. Then boiled. Not imagined, not delirium. Proof. Served cold. I slipped into an empty consult room, hands shaking as I jotted notes on a stolen notepad.
Dr.
Ellis, real name Elias Grant, per a quick mental cross-reference for my future knowledge, was Jack's poker buddy. A disgraced MD who'd lost his license in a pill mill scandal but still consulted off books for cash. The illness was a prop, symptoms scripted, scans doctored. And me, collateral, the loving wife whose death would seal the con. Rage coiled in my gut, a serpent of my own, but I played it cool. Revenge wasn't a sprint, it was a marathon of mindfucks. Back home, Jack was on a call, pacing the living room in his Brooks Brothers suit, voice low and urgent. Vanessa. Baby. It's locked. Chloe's none the wiser. Phase 1's gold. He hung up, spotting me, smile snapping back like elastic. How'd the meeting go? I forced a laugh, dropping my bag with deliberate casualness. Boring as hell. But hey, I grabbed Ty on the way. Over pad, CEW. I probed gently. What's stressing you?
Hun.
You seem distant. He waved it off, but I saw the cracks, the way his fork paused midair, eyes darting to his phone. That night, as he slept, I hacked his email, old password. Chloe Forever 69, Irony's bitter pill. Attachments galore, forged MRIs, IOUs to Vanessa totaling $4 million. even a draft will naming her silent partner in my estate. The betrayal sank deeper than the poison ever had, not just greed, but erasure. He'd planned to bury me alive in paperwork. My Ohio family cut out. My art legacy pawned for his escape. But the real gut punch? A photo buried in a subfolder. Us on our honeymoon in Napa. Me laughing. Him staring off frame at nothing. Was any of it real? Or just the long con from day one? Dawn broke with me sleepless, plotting my first move. Controversial? Hell yes. I'd start by seducing the truth out of Vanessa. Not with fists, but finesse. I texted her from a burner app, posing as a concerned colleague with dirt on Jack's habits. Heard about the Hamptons deal.
We need to talk.
Her reply pinged in minutes. Who is this? Coffee tomorrow? Hook.
Line.
Sinker. As Jack stirred, murmuring my name in sleep, love or lie, I whispered back. Game on, asshole. The days blurred into a tense tango. I played the doting fiancé, cooking his favorite steak au poivre. No arsenic this round, while feeding intel to a PI I'd hired off Craigslist. A grizzled ex-cop named Ruiz who didn't ask questions for $500 upfront. Ruiz dug fast. Jack's debts traced to a syndicate in Queens. Loan sharks who'd break knees for less than he owed. Vanessa? Daddy's girl gone rogue. Flipping properties with laundered cash. And Ellis? A ghost. Practicing in shadows. Ripe for exposure. My first controversial call came midweek. Jack suggested a weekend getaway, Montauk, to reconnect. In my old life, it had been the precursor to his confession. Tears and vows masking the script. This time,
I said yes,
but packed a hidden recorder in my bikini. On the drive, E Street Band on the stereo. He opened up just enough. Babe, things are tight at work. Might need to dip into savings. I nodded, hand on his thigh, voice honeyed. Whatever we need. Team Harper, right? His relief was palpable. But so was the lie savings? He'd drained them months ago for Vanessa's Birkin binge. Montauk's salt air whipped my doubts into resolve. That night, bonfire crackling on the beach, waves crashing like accusations. I pushed. Jack, if something's wrong, medically, you can tell me. His face crumpled, Oscar-worthy. Chloe. There's a spot. On my pancreas. Docs say it's bad. Cue the waterworks. My arm around him as he confessed. But the recorder caught it all. Including the slip. Vanessa knows. She's helping. Bingo. I held him tighter, masking the venom rising. Helping? She'd be the noose. Back in the city, I met Vanessa at a Tribeca cafe. All exposed brick and overpriced avocado toast. She was everything I wasn't: blonde, Botox smooth, Lululemon chic. So, spill, she said, sipping a matcha like it was truth serum. I leaned in, voice low. Jack's using you. The cancer? Bullshit. He's got markers on your daddy's properties. Her eyes widened, real shock. Or theater. She stammered.
What? No. He's sick.
We're in love.
Love.
The word twisted like a knife. I slid over a printout. Ruiz's prelims on the forged scans. Check the metadata. It's from a stock photo site. She paled, fingers trembling on her phone. That son of a bitch. Alliance forged in fury. Vanessa wasn't innocent, complicit. Sure, but Jack's betrayal cut her deeper, threatening her empire. What do you want? She hissed. Out, I said. And him ruined. We clinked lattes like blood oaths. Plotting over napkins. Leak the fakes to his boss. Tip the sharks anonymously. Expose Ellis to the med board. Controversial? Partnering with the other woman? In Brooklyn bars. They'd call it Karma's cocktail.
To me,
It was checkmate's opening gambit. But doubt crept in that night. Jack snoring beside me. Arms slung possessive. Was I becoming him, scheming shadow?
no.
This was justice. Raw and American. The kind served with a side of schadenfreude.
Still,
Sleep evaded. Ghosts whispering. What if you can't stop? I shoved it down. Phase 1 complete. His world was tilting. Mine was arming up. 2 weeks into the rewind, and the tension was a live wire, humming under my skin like the subway rumbles beneath our street. Jack's symptoms started showing, or faking, the nausea, the fatigue, all timed for weekend brunches where friends cooed sympathy. I played along, the perfect pillar, fetching ginger ale and holding hair that wasn't thinning yet. But inside, I was a powder keg, fuses lit by every forced smile. Vanessa and I met twice more, in shadowed corners of speakeasies where gin flowed freer than confessions. She spilled it all. Their affair sparked at a hedge fund gala. Jack's whispers of leaving me for something real.
real.
As if our late-night sketches and shared Spotify playlists were counterfeit. He's a user, she admitted over her third martini. Lipstick smudged like war paint. But I thought, with the illness, we'd run. Hamptons forever. I nodded, masking the bile, running on my corpse. We ended clean, I said. No bodies. Just bankruptcy and bars. Our plan crystallized. I'd plant digital breadcrumbs, emails from his account to Ellis, canceling the con, framing him as the mastermind. Vanessa would siphon funds to a dummy LLC, bleeding him dry.
Ruiz,
He'd handle the sharks. A whisper here, a photo there, turning debts into demons. My next controversial play hit like a gut punch. I reached out to Jack's sister, Lena, the family black sheep exiled to Philly after a coke-fueled scandal. In my old life, she'd shown up at my funeral, eyes dry, muttering about karma for gold diggers. Blood or not. She hated him, saw the rot beneath the charm. I called her from a park bench in Prospect, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle eyes. Lena, it's Chloe. Jack's in trouble. Deep shit. Gambling.
fakes.
And he wants to drag me down. Silence. Then a bark laugh. Knew it. The golden boy's tarnished. What do you need? Intel. She had it. Childhood tales of Jack forging Dad's signature for college tuition. Early poker busts swept under Yale rugs. He's always been a climber, she said. Mom died thinking he was perfect. Don't let him do it to you. We schemed. She'd visit next month. Plant seeds of doubt with their mom. Isolate him emotionally while we hit financially. Betraying family? Taboo as hell in our Midwest-rooted circles. But Jack had burned that bridge first. This was pruning the poison ivy. Meanwhile, the city pulsed with oblivious energy, Times Square's neon assault, Central Park joggers dodging my inner turmoil. I threw myself into work, pitching bolder designs to ad agencies, channeling rage into pixels that popped. One gig landed, a campaign for a whistleblower app. Irony's wink. Nights,
Though,
were reconnaissance. I tailed Jack to a midtown dive, watching him huddle with Ellis over whiskeys. Voices low about timelines. My phone app transcribed, Chloe's trusting. Surgery in 6, make it look like she pushed for it. My nails dug crescents into palms. 6 months.
Clock ticking.
The real heat built at a Goldman holiday mixer. Fairy lights twinkling like false halos in the plaza's ballroom. Jack schmoozed. Arm around me, introducing me as The Rock. Vanessa slinked in late. Red dress a siren call. Their eyes locking across the caviar trays, electric. Damning. I excused myself to the ladies, but detoured to the valet. Slipping a USB to Ruiz's contact, the gala's security feed. Cued to their flirt. Leak it subtle, I texted. By morning, whispers would ripple through the trading floor. Sure enough, Monday's coffee run buzzed with it, an anonymous email blast. Grainy stills of Jack and Vanessa in a heated embrace. His boss called him in. Face thunderous per Ruiz's tail. Jack stormed home early, slamming doors, whiskey bottle in fist. What the fuck? Chloe, you see this shit? I feigned shock. Eyes wide. Online? Oh God. Is it real? He paced, ranting about jealous rivals, but sweat beaded his brow. The mask cracking. That night, he begged for reassurance. Do you trust me? And I lied through my teeth. Always. But as he drifted off, I texted Vanessa, your move. Pull the trigger on the transfers.
She did.
By week's end, Jack's accounts hemorrhaged, glitches, he called them, screaming at IT. Vanessa played innocent. Her Hamptons flip stalled for inspections. Ellis ghosted. License probe initiated via an anonymous tip to the AMA. The sharks circled too, a brick through our window. Scrawled note. Pay up. Harper. Jack aged a decade overnight. Hollow-cheeked. Paranoia his new cologne. We're targets, he confided, pulling me close. Stick with me,
babe.
I'll fix it. Fix it on whose dime? Mine. 6 months hence. Doubt not harder now. A controversial crossroads. Lena's visit loomed, but a late-night scroll unearthed more. Jack's mom. Evelyn. Betterton in Connecticut. Her will heavy on him as heir. Expose him fully. And she'd shatter, cancer patient herself. Irony's cruel echo. Mercy killing her spirit, or let the snake feast. I drove up unannounced. Rain-slicked eye, 95 mirroring my mood, arriving at her colonial with soup and secrets. Evelyn, frail in her rocker, clutched my hand. E adores you.
Chloe.
Don't let the world harden you. Her words pierced. Had I been hardenable? Or forged in fire? Back in Brooklyn, the pressure cooker whistled. Jack proposed accelerating the wedding, for stability. Vegas quickie. Eloping to lock in my assets. Trap sprung early. I stalled with romantic tears. Buying time. But the climax brewed. Ruiz uncovered the syndicate's kingpin. A Russian expat named Dmitry, who knew Jack from Atlantic City highs. Meet him.
Ruiz.
Controversial as hell. Dangling bait to a mobster? But it could end this without courts. Clean as a ghost. The meet was a Hell's Kitchen warehouse. Fog rolling off the Hudson like bad omens. I went alone. Wired. Heart slamming. Dmitry, barrel-chested in a tracksuit, eyed me like a mark. Mrs.
Harper.
Hubby owes 2 mil. With juice? 3. I slid a folder. Vanessa's siphon proof. Enough to bankrupt Jack twice. Take it all.
He's done.
Dmitri chuckled, gold tooth glinting. And you?
No blowback.
Blowback's his problem. We shook. Deal sealed in shadows. As I exited, phone buzzed. Lena's text. Mom's asking questions. Told her enough. He's spiraling. Jack was... All right, canceled meetings, pill bottles multiplying placebos? Who knew? He cornered me that night, eyes wild. Chloe, listen. The cancer. It's worse. We need the insurance now. Marry me tomorrow. The lie hung, ripe for popping. I smiled, slow and sharp. Tomorrow? Let's make it official. But as he hooped, kissing me fierce, I tasted the twist of fate. Revenge was sweet, but the cost? My soul, fraying at edges. Was I saving us? Or damning myself? The Vegas elopement was a fever dream wrapped in neon, the little white wedding chapel's bells tolling like funeral dirges under the desert sun. Jack. Tux rumpled from the flight, grinned like he'd won the jackpot. Me. The prize. My signature the key to his vault. I walked the aisle in a thrift store gown, veil hiding eyes that burned with borrowed time, vows exchanged, till death do us part. Irony. Thy name is rebirth. That night, in our suite overlooking the Strip's electric frenzy, he made love like a man possessed, tender.
Urgent.
Whispering I love you between thrusts. For a heartbeat, I faltered. Was this the ghost of us? The real before the rot? Or just another act? Morning brought clarity. Hangover sharp. While he slept off champagne, I faxed the marriage cert to his insurers, accelerating the policy, full coverage, effective immediately. Back in New York, the dominoes toppled swift. Dimitri's crew hit first, Jack's Porsche torched in the Goldman garage, a calling card etched in Cyrillic. He freaked, barricading us in the apartment, paranoia painting shadows as threats. It's the rivals, he raved, popping Xanax like tic-tacs. Vanessa called then. Voice a silken blade. He's crumbling. My lawyer's filing liens on his assets. I hung up, watching him pace. The man I'd loved reduced to a cornered rat. Lena arrived like a nor'easter. Philly edge honed to a point. Over Evelyn's chamomile in Connecticut, she laid it bare. Jack's a fraud.
Mom.
The debts. The girl, Chloe's caught in it. Evelyn wept, frail hands twisting lace, but nodded. End it, girls. For the family. We did, Lena tipping SEC insiders on Jack's insider trades, crypto dumps he'd buried. Me leaking the affair montage to page 6. By week's end, headline screamed, Wall Street Wolf's Wild Weekend, cancer claim or con. His boss fired him via courier. Bonus clawed back. The controversial apex hid in our kitchen. Rain lashing windows like judgment. Jack, unshaven, slammed the paper down. This is you,
Isn't it?
poisoning me with lies.
His eyes.
Bloodshot. Bored into mine. Accuser turned accused. I didn't flinch. Poison? Like the arsenic you planned for my coffee? Or the swapped meds in surgery? He froze. Color draining.
What? How?
I laughed. Cold as the Hudson. I know, Jack. Everything. The fake scans. Vanessa's cut. Ellis's script. Phase 2 was my grave.
Wasn't it?
He lunged. Hands on my shoulders, not violent, but desperate. Chloe, baby. It's not, listen. The debts. They were killing me. You were. Collateral. But I loved you. Swear to God.
Loved.
Past tense. A dagger twist. The twist I'd craved.
But it hollowed me.
Loved enough to kill? I shoved him back. Voice steady. Cops are coming. SEC 2. Dimitri's got the rest. His face crumpled. The golden boy broken.
Please.
We can run. Start over. Temptation flickered. Abscond with him. Rewrite our script?
But no.
This was the point, his end. My dawn. Sirens wailed distant.
Closing in.
Goodbye, Jack. He crumpled to the floor, sobbing. As I stepped out into the storm, door clicking shut like a guillotine. The aftermath was a whirlwind of depositions and detox. Ellis surrendered. License revoked. Facing fraud charges. Vanessa flipped, testifying for immunity. Her Hampton's dreams deferred to community service. Dimitri? Vanished. Debts forgiven in a plea haze. Jack? Arraigned on conspiracy to commit murder. Bail denied, his poker face shattered in orange jumpsuit. Evelyn forgave. In her way, leaving me the locket she'd worn through chemo. Lena and I, sisters in scars, toasting over Philly cheesesteaks. Months blurred. Brooklyn blooming anew. I sold the walk-up, bought a loft in Bushwick, walls alive with my canvases, bold strokes of crimson and shadow. Art born of ashes. Dates came hesitant, a barista with tattoos, a curator with kind eyes. But trust? A slow thaw. The real twist? A letter from Jack. Smuggled via his lawyer. Postmark Rikers. Chloe, you were right. I was sick, not cancer, but soul deep. If rebirth's real, forgive me in yours. Love always.
G.
I burned it, but the words lingered. A bike kink in my straight arrow revenge. Happy ending? Not fairy tale, but fitting, justice served American style. Messy and merciless, with room for redemption's whisper.
Me?
I walk taller. Scars invisible but steel strong. The world upside down?
Nah.
Just righted. One calculated fall at a time. In quiet moments, staring at city lights from my fire escape, I wondered, was the hook death's gasp? Or life's fierce return? Either way, I was alive, truly. This time. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.